Folks, welcome back to the College COD Alpha stream. My name is Seymour, and beside me is Proper, and we're here to bring you Ottawa Braves versus the St. Edwards Hilltoppers. Proper, I'm excited for the series. You know, it's the last week of regular season, and we get banger matchups like Ottawa on board. I'm stoked. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, the Western region as a whole, right, Colin? We talked about this in the digital green room. We were kind of palling around with Sport, who's the producer for the evening with us, is that the entire Western region is already kind of settled, but what isn't settled are the seedings. This one in particular does have major seeding implications going into playoffs.
It has major seeding implications, and when we look to the head-to-head, we can definitely see why. Both of these teams, you know, kind of little bit separate when you're looking at it. Ottawa 8-0, St. Edwards 6-2, but inside of the Tier 1 West Division, Ottawa's sitting in that first place spot, St. Edwards sitting in the third place spot, and right now, so many seedings kind of guaranteed right now are riding on the back of St. Edwards' win or loss tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely will. We'll talk more about that later on with our matchup in between ASU and the Westcliff Warriors. But this one in particular, you almost feel is a must-win for the Hilltoppers, given how the rest of their second tier ended up going. You can see from top to bottom, there are only 2 series losses that they have on record through the entirety of the 2022 season is actually happening within the second cut of the 2022 season. With those 2 losses, it kind of put them in a very interesting standpoint. I mean, St. Edwards, when they ended up losing to ASU and then losing to ICC, puts them in a very interesting position. They have to be able to win here if they want to guarantee themselves a top 5 seeding overall ahead of playoffs.
That's not an easy thing to ask when you're looking at the roster that's ahead of them because, I mean, Ottawa's going to be a tough one, but it definitely has to be here and now where they stand tall. So let's take a look at St. Edwards University since we're paying attention to them for the series tonight. Your St. Edwards Hilltoppers representing them proper: Thresh, Vanity, Eons, and Reality.
Yeah, I've always been really high on Thresh, right? We've been talking about this kid since the beginning of the season, ever since he got brought on board with the Hilltoppers as a whole down at St. Edwards University. Love to be able to see the South American representation as a whole in North American Call of Duty, but Thresh has been that anchor for the rest of St. Edwards as a whole, and it needs to be a beacon of hope if they want to be able to take it to the Braves. That said, Eons needs to be able to have a big game. The one player that's been, I wouldn't say lacking, but almost needs to have a breakout performance this time around would probably be Vanity or Reality. It's very tough to be able to gauge which one you want to be able to see step up more, but one of those 2 players needs to be able to have as good and a consistent performance as Eons and Thresh will if they want to hope to not only be able to take a map, but to potentially take the series versus the Braves.
Gonna be a tough one against the Braves. It's like the monster in the closet. It's the king of CCL right now, the defending champions from 2021, your Ottawa Braves, and representing them, Cruelty, Hoop Tape, Herbie, Ethan Too Nice, and Gunzy. A star-studded roster, Proper.
Yeah, Gunzy is one of the very few players. We talked about this with Silly last week in their matchup versus Northwood, representing Bay State, sure, but Gunzy is on that Strike X team, represented in North America Challengers, that is actually going to the Pro-Am, qualified that with Silly and co. So definitely looking to see what Savvy can bring to the table. But I mean, look, this Ottawa Braves roster, what more can you say about them? They only have that 1 map loss on Search and Destroy all year long. They are your defending champions from the Cold War season. Obviously, it is almost a shadow of what we did see from them last year in Cold War. These gods can definitely bleed, but what I'm mostly worried about coming from this team is that Austin Cruelty came into the Twitch chat during that first matchup, and they were kind of feeling themselves, saying, I'm going to have to put on a highlight reel performance tonight. I'll be looking out for that one in particular.
I'm going to be looking for that one as well. I hope Cruelty kind of holds his words, but in order to do so, I mean, they still got to walk out on top for the series, and the series we have to walk through is going to be judged by the maps in turn. Bokaj, Tuscan, Gavitu, Bokaj. One thing that I was looking at Proper going into the series, especially if you're St. Edwards, I mean, you did not have a good series against ICC last week. You lost 3-0. A lot of them were AR-centric maps, and I was looking at them to get a little bit mixy, a little bit scrappy, and judging by these maps, it looks like they wanted to as well.
Yeah, these first 2 maps are going to be really good when you're thinking this for the Hilltoppers to be able to bring that scrap mentality, right? Because Bokaj, it can generally be a toss-up, especially if your SMGs and your flexes are going AWOL across the entirety of the map. finding a lot of isolated engagements, enforcing spawn traps specifically on the backside of P3. You could also say the same thing when you're looking at those P4 holds as well, trying to enforce a lot of these different spawn trap situations. If you can continue to manipulate the map, this Bocage hardpoint could be really good for St. Edwards, but you got to be careful because the Braves could also just benefit from that scrappiness as well. You have 4 players that are more than accustomed to going absolutely crazy throughout the entirety of the map, and that same exact instance could bleed over to the Tuscan, where again SMGs and AR flexes can absolutely reign supreme.
When you're talking about, looking at maybe weaknesses on this Ottawa roster, there's very few to really point out, so it's hard to judge key to victories really realistically for the St. Edwards roster going into this matchup. It's going to be a tough one no matter where you go proper, and Bocage for the start, I'm ready to see if this is exactly what they need to maybe crack open the case against this Ottawa Braves team. It's only time will tell when we do see. But as we're loading in, it looks like these teams are ready to go, ready to rock and roll, and so am I. Let's hop into the cage. Let's hop in on board with St. Edwards first.
Starting off on the favorite side will end up being the Braves. Your defending champions will at least get these 2 lanes to be able to look at, and they're actually taking this as a more split of an opportunity. You can see Lightning as well as Ethan. They are currently looking over towards that river position, but they're not starting to flood. They already found themselves 2 opening engagements, and they're looking for barn control as well as some time.
Well, they're looking for barn control, but they're not going to find it. It's going to be completely shut down with a 3-for-1, and you can see sent back to the spawns, back Grandma's. Gunzy looking to play first line of defense on screen inside of this Grandma. Spots out 2. The information is going to be there. Waits for the second. Snaps into the first. It's 3 down again. Nobody from St. Edwards can even get past the hill.
Yeah, again, just finding those opening engagements, making sure that they hold that line of scrimmage right at the 50-yard line. But Gunzy pushed a little bit too far forward. Thresh ends up spawning in on the bottom side of River, and if you are the Braves, you have to be aware of this. The hit is coming through from the side. Gunzy's already on a 6, looking for that 7, so that way they can get themselves that glide bomb, an influential one at that. But now if you're Thresh, you're just kind of hanging out on the back 10 area. The rest of your team is still spawning over by the Willow Tree, and you almost have to be activated here sooner rather than later to help out your team move forward.
Thresh needs to make something happen soon. He's just sitting back there, finally peeks out. He's going to find the kill onto Cruelty. That's going to be 2 down for Braves. Opens up the Hilltoppers for allowing them. Or collecting time inside the second hill. Reality choking it up. Spots out some players. Down tanks. Here they come. Bait in hand. He's going to drop right into the hands of Thresh. And you see this scrappy fight between each side with Vanity coming out with the kill on Lightning. It is going to open up for still time here in the Hilltoppers with 28-14. You can see the spawns come up back from the Braves down deep inside that shed. They come swinging on out, and it does look like with Thresh finding the team kill there, it is going to nullify the time inside that second hill for now.
Still 10 seconds to soak up if you are the Hilltoppers, and you know that they're going to be able to soak up every last little bit of that before flying their way inside of P3. But you already have one player over here, and you have Eons at least trying to enforce their way topside of Grandma's, but got to look both ways before you cross the kitchen area. Ethan is holding down over by the AS&D site. They snap to rip the head off of Reality clean. I don't mean the initial time will be here for the Braves for the time being.
Hilltoppers breaking for the front. Ottawa on the inside. Here come the nades. Vanity's going to find Gunzy. It's a 2-for-2, so nobody collecting time. Ottawa's still with those better spawns. They're going to be able to reinforce this right away. You need Reality if your Hilltoppers start cutting off these reinforcements, but he does get caught from Gunzy. Looking the wrong way. That is going to allow for Ottawa now to push onto the site. Hop in for the contention once more. Gunzy uproots Vanity from the inside. Now trying to work for these kills around the outside of things. St. Edwards find the one-on-ones. They pick them apart, and they still hold on to this time. We got an even game inside Grandma's. Hilltoppers, they're coming out with a lot inside Grandma's.
Eons is playing lights out on these last 4 kills, finds himself on a 4 spree currently. They actually find 5 over by AS&D. That top flat position will be really good to be able to enforce this spawn trap further. Gunzy will at least slip the net. Will end up taking down Reality inside of Grandma's, but that's a good gunfight to end up losing if you are Reality, given that you do hold those back 10 spawns. You already end up having Vanity inside of the barn for this initial time, and Eons is still going rogue on a 6, looking for number 7. Ooh. They're going to be able to find it, taking down Ethan, so that's a glide bomb accrued, at least for the Hilltoppers position. But the rest of the team found success on breaking through the middle of the map.
You keep your eye on that glide bomb for the later hills, but Hilltoppers now need to break back in. Vanity gets into the hills, almost snaps on the Gunzy, but still back and forth. A 2 in a row from Gunzy will start collecting time for the Braves. You see the St. Edwards University still spawning up on the left side of the minimap, so the closer spawns to this hill should be able to reinforce this right away, but look around the outside. Ottawa Braves set up in these power positions. They're just picking apart SCU off the respawn. They're denying them of any presence inside of this fourth hill, and that's allowed Ottawa Braves to gain their lead once more.
Yeah, it'll probably be just, what, about like maybe a 10-point lead before we take our shift in focus over towards P5. But again, holding the line of scrimmage cleanly are the Braves. Eon needs to go big inside a barn. They do end up finding one, but inside the small building will be Ethan as they find themselves yet another spree on a 4. Drops down to be able to get themselves some initial time, and this is now activation if you are taking a look at player number 7 on the map. It's Reality. Looking for that flank play to maybe try to pinch this with the rest of the Hilltopper members to be able to break inside 5.
Little 1-2 punch, Gunzy over the corner. Team kill is going to favor him, but still Reality praying away at these players on the Braves. You still need to take a few of these kills because you see the Ottawa, they still have the better spawns in the situations. They're going to be able to find the kills, hop back in a matter of seconds. With these 25 seconds left, they want to collect as much as they can going into the second set of rotations, but big wins out of Thresh and Vanity. It's going to leave Lightning sitting like a duck on the inside. They come in for the break. They keep time out of the Braves' hands, and a big moment from SCU not to let things get a little out of hand.
Be looking to reset the entirety of the map going in second set. This was a big hill for the Braves to be able to build themselves this 50. You can see where St. Edwards are setting themselves up. They are on that favorite side of the map. They cannot afford to lose these gunfights inside a barn. Lightning tries to push a little bit too fast and cut down by Reality, but still, Ottawa threatening from the front. They're soaking up so much time, knowing that St. Edwards are putting all of their marbles into the bag and holding on to the P2 spawns.
Gunzy soaking up time no longer. Big kill out of Reality to keep this hill open, keep the clock burning, down by a majority. Need this time if you're St. Edwards, but more importantly, you need to take Lightning out in the back line because he's found it. He's completely flipped the lines here, and dangerous territory for St. Edwards to be in. They have to be careful not to get spawn trapped all the way on Grandma's side again like they did last time. Lightning coming big for the Ottawa Braves. You got 20 seconds to collect here. St. Edwards looking to grab it, but at the moment, they need to be more careful and more worried about the back spawns here. You see Thresh is going to make the overextension. He takes down Reality, looking for the most. He needs to stay alive back here for spawns. He pulls it for his team as well as we're looking into the second hill to be opened up.
I completely lost Ethan, though. Ethan's going to clean them up, and that means that squad spawns will come through in the backside of 10. Nobody for the Hilltoppers were in a position to try to block that spawn out, and Ottawa, they are collecting off of all this time, all of the pressure that St. Edwards were trying to put in to try to enforce P2. They were losing the individual gunfights towards the middle of the map. A lot of isolated plays, and Gunzy is the one that's absolutely flourishing within said nonsense. 19 and 15 for them. Same thing could be said about Ethan as we were looking at their POV. 23 and 14. Another 4 spree for the kid. Just really feels like the Braves can do no wrong. They're isolating so many players for the Hilltoppers. They're finding the kills. They're finding the trades, Colin, and now the lead has gotten out of hand.
And doing everything right. 163 to 89. A big lead for the Braves. You still have 20 seconds to play for. Eons wants to make a late play, but he's going to drop. And you look how far away St. Edwards are from this hill. Nobody in a position really to hit this one last time. Reality trying to break things off for the rotation, see if he can hold off these Ottawa Braves before they push over into the Grandma's side of things. And P3, you can see the lock about to open, down by 100 points. This needs to be big for SCU proper.
And to say that you need to get a full 50 off a map like Bocage on any of the hard points is one of those easier said than done type deals. Again, Braves have just been finding a lot of success in isolating a lot of these plays, though P3 the last time around was very good for the Hilltoppers. They do find these trades. It just comes about dealing with the hit from the front, and here come the Braves. They are flooding all the way in. Ethan finds yet another 2-piece, now can put themselves inside the contest spot and try to help out their teammates to hold this from the front.
There's a big break from Ethan. Didn't last too long off the respawn. St. Edwards, they break back in with a big 2 from Eons now. Looking to hold off the second wave as here come the Braves once more. Lightning through the window. 3 go down, and just like that, back into the hill. The Braves, they waste no time proper at taking back their lead. Almost going to eclipse this 200-point marker, and they will. And now danger zone for St. Edwards. As we're hopping over to this P4. Ottawa Braves, the first one set up once more, and this is spawn trap territory.
Oh, Gunzy just would be able to find some team shots. Ethan will take down Eons just outside of the back of Grandma's. And again, just flourishing within the chaos. Finding a lot of good isolated plays are the Braves. And again, just proactively making sure that there are no flank plays coming through. Gunzy finds themselves on another 5 spree. They did not get that glide bomb to start off the entirety of the map. But when you're beating like this, Braves threatening to close it out here.
Thresh need to go big. Gunzy holding off 6 in a row. Last chance for the Hilltoppers. One more push. If they drop, that could be it. 13 seconds to put this map away. Here comes the glide bomb, dropped right down into the middle of the map, forces St. Edwards on the inside in for the contention. Here they come. Ethan, too nice to trade. 2 for 2 on the inside of things. 9 seconds left. Eon's holding on still. Contention rating true. Gunzy throws himself right forward, takes down Eon's. Now 6 seconds left. Vanity looking to get from the side, hops in for the contention, wins a big 2-3, go down. They're holding on proper. 8 seconds left. They can hold this to P5.
I mean, they're holding on, but really, how can you really just hold on with the leader's advantage that the Braves have? Just one slight contest comes all the way through, and they can close it out. 4 seconds are all that are required for the Braves to close out this map one here, the Bocage hardpoint, and you can see that St. Edwards, they're reeling. They have no idea where to set themselves up at, and that's because Gunzy's in the back trying to make the play to close it out.
Fresh spots Ethan, takes him down with the help of the player on the inside. It's Lightning punishing from the back line, finds 2. Over the top ropes, Lightning looking to fly and surge on forward, but inside still thriving. St. Edwards holding on by strings. Inside of this hill, number 5, as you can see, Ottawa Braves spawning all the way deep in the left side of the minimap, lining up for one last take, one last spear push. Through the front line, Ethan lands the nade on the inside, looking for Vanity. Big help from Eons. 2 go down for the Braves. It's a 2-for-2 trade with Cruelty finding Reality. Thresh in the back line, holding things strong for Vanity on the inside. And with 11 seconds left, St. Edwards on point to gaining a full 60 points in this P5 setup.
That was a good kill, but now you're going to be looking towards Reality to make a godlike play inside of Barn. They are that one lone player trying to commit towards the pinch with Thresh. They do activate, they take down Gunzy, but you got to find so many more kills just to keep the Braves off the hardpoint.
Reality dancing at Barn. Can't dance for 2-2. Long Lightning's going to hop in. He soaks up the rest. Only 4 points needed, and Ottawa Braves are going to put away map number 1. Bocage going their way as they lead the series against SCU. A big one at that. Maybe a little bit of a slip up towards the end, but I mean, you said it yourself, proper. Winner's advantage. It's at that point, how long can they hold on for?
Yeah, well, the answer was not too long. I mean, they had a lot of bright spots when you were looking at the recontest back over by P3, just being able to influence their hand going over towards P4, and a fantastic hold when it's all said and done. That was a great hold that the Hilltoppers were able to showcase down at P5, but again, the leader's advantage was just too big to be able to try to bounce all the way back once you ended up having, what, about a 100-point lead for the Braves there towards the meat and potatoes of the second set of hard points, Colin. It just almost feels impossible, especially like a map like Bocage, where things can just go back and forth. Gunfights can sway any sort of decision to be able to get 5 seconds within the hard point, and when you just need 4, like what the Braves were able to find for themselves, it just became insurmountable for St. Edwards to be able to bounce all the way back in towards that hill. And you could see during that P4 hill that they wanted to be able to hold on to that glide bomb that Eons was able to get at the beginning of that set to be able to influence any sort of snowball potential going in towards P5, but you had to call it in towards the middle of the map. You had to force all of the Braves inside of P4. They just couldn't collect on all of the kills fast enough to be able to influence a spawn trap, and because of that, they lost their resource, they lost their ace up their sleeve, and all the individual gunfights that came soon after just felt like, again, the Braves could certainly not lose them.
And we can take a look at the stats while we brush over the rest of it. I mean, St. Edwards, you want to go to a scrappy map like Bocage, and you played it very well into the last couple of hills, but you needed to see that a little bit more throughout the front side of that map. And the Braves, they just started off so hot. I mean, you talk about Gunzy, you talk about Ethan throughout that. 31-25 for Gunzy, 35-25 for Ethan. And both those players just having so many individual pop-off moments that are just too hard to keep up with for the St. Edward lineup.
4,000 damage, both between Gunzy and Ethan, respectfully. Lightning right behind them at 3,200 damage. Austin at 2,700 damage, going 20 and 25, was just trying to anchor things out while the rest of their team of the Braves were just flourishing inside the hill. I mean, look at the hardpoint time between Gunzy, Ethan, and Lightning. They all just about had a minute and 15, if not more than that. Between the 3 of them, they were just flourishing inside that chaos like I was talking about. But for St. Edwards on the other side, you can look where they were certainly lacking. I mean, say what you will about not having a lot of presence inside the hill, sure, but it just comes down to those individual gunfights. Eons did have the biggest kill spree out of every single member inside of this lobby, but still went 26 and 32, that it just felt like when Ottawa had a read on, at least on the 1, if not 2 players, the veterans of the Braves were able to absolutely flourish in understanding where the rest of the hits were coming from. Again, isolating all of the plays, trying to lock down a lot of these individuals for the Hilltoppers, and they were finding success in just that.
Exactly. Success in everything in that whole sense. But we take a look forward to this one proper, and we look at Tuscan Search and Destroy up next. St. Edwards I mean, you look at Ottawa Braves, not a whole lot of exploits on their side, but, I mean, a loss on Search and Destroy showing that this could be potentially a map where you bring things out. If you're looking at SCU, what do you want them to walk out into this map and show?
I mean, you just got to be able to come out and play your Search and Destroy, right? You know that the Braves are going to be feeling the hot hand just to continue to push everything as hard as they possibly can. They know that they got the better gunnies at this point. I mean, the only player, again, walking away from that Bokosh hardpoint of all things was the main AR of Thresh. They went 30-22. You got to be able to have a performance if you are the SMGs to be able to influence the middle of the map. We know that quick plans won't be happening over at A, but you have to be able to find as much information as possible so that way you can walk away with these offensive rounds if you are St. Edwards. You have to really just almost like benchmark what all of this practice and all of the training that you're doing at that facility down at St. Edwards University will finally pay off for this one matchup in particular. Not saying that Ottawa aren't practicing everything that they possibly can within their own rights, within their own facility, and
for sure,
with all of their players as well, but you are a team of St. Edwards that are spending more time playing together than I would probably say than Ottawa on the other hand, where all four of these players that are representing the Braves here today, Colin, have been playing on top challengers teams throughout the entirety of the year. So your practice, almost like your bread and butters have to be there if you are St. Edwards to be able to walk away with this this Search and Destroy on Tuscan. It'll be close if they end up winning it, but still, you have to rely on all of that practice and everything else to be able to find that information game so that way you can end up walking away with these rounds as cleanly as possible.
And we're not saying, Ottawa couldn't, synergize on their own. I mean, playing at that top level in challengers is just practice in its own right that is leagues above what a lot of these players get to see. But, I mean, SCU, for sure. Search and Destroy, it's a game where synergy is definitely going to pay off in the long run. You just, especially on a map with Tuscan where you recently get the change in the defensive spawns, you can see that working together with all four players is going to pay off in dividends, the fact that you're all on the same page. So I'm looking at St. Edwards definitely to be playing as a squad as you're calling out for. But, talking about having the change in defensive plays, are you looking at anything from these two teams, off the defensive rip, just to make sure that you can find an advantage, keep away from that quick plan at A?
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to my previous point again, like having a lot of players just kind of like in and out of a lot of different top-tier challengers teams, it almost feels like a plug-and-play when it comes down to these Ottawa guys. And if you are looking at them defensively, it's just about isolating that first blood. Look, if you're playing defense, Tuscan, Search and Destroy, you know as well as I do, there's more than likely going to be an automaton that goes up top church to absolutely cut down a player top fire, if not inside of tiles. And that numbers advantage right there will soon be should be a guaranteed round. That's what I'm almost looking at from Ottawa, is just to be so textbook that St. Edwards don't even stand a chance. Though St. Edwards, on the other hand, it's just about reading any sort of tendencies that Ottawa are throwing towards you. Are they going to come out and just try to run and gun their opponents of the Hilltoppers? If they are, then it's just about cutting down those players, utilizing your stuns to stop them from getting middle of the map as quickly as I'm sure that they're going to be looking for it. It will be the Hilltoppers on offense first, and I like this right off the rip. You have one player top fire, two players trying to commit towards well. First blood will be found. That's thanks to Thresh, of all things, that will be through the middle of the map. So now if you are these players for Ottawa in the middle, you just have to hold tight. Just wait to see if you catch any players rotating on it.
The stage is set, and you do have a player slipping the lines in Lightning. We're going to draw back this round. Reality finds the second on board in favor of the Hilltoppers, but soon to be traded out by Gunsy is going to allow Lightning now to just run rampant in this backline. Bomb's going to go down at B. It's a 3v2, and now the post plant for the Hilltoppers looking to reside inside the spawn of the Braves.
4v2 for the retake. This has to be an isolated play on two different sides. You can see Gunsy trying to retake the backside of Church. Maybe we'll join their teammate up top radio, but Lightning has to make a play forward. You only got 27 seconds to do this, and it's already being watched by Thresh, who found the second in the round.
Gunsy's got the sniper. Misses the mark on Vanity. Gets called out, and Thresh still sitting tall on that top platform. Is going to cut down that last player. First round over to the Hilltoppers. It's a big one as well. You talk about the fights through the middle of the map. Who else? It's Thresh. 3 inside that round. Has a fantastic map number 1. And he's already transitioning it over into round 2.
And like I said, is the cornerstone of success for this Hilltoppers roster is Thresh. Fresh out of South America, coming in to get their college education and play some North American Call of Duty. Finds 3 in that round. Found the first blood, and then also found rotating players once the post plant did come all the way through. And that's exactly what I wanted to see out from the Hilltoppers, playing their own style of Search and Destroy. Thresh will find first blood again, though quickly answered back through the middle of the map.
Even Stevens at 3. Bomb yet to move from Lightning's positioning over towards A. A nice nade set from player number 3 in Vanity to slow down Lightning. Everything riding off Gunzy right now. Working his magic through Church, making sure you cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure that this whole map is under control for yourself, but nobody there. It's Eons getting dropped to 65, has to escape from the A side, and there's Gunzy. Opens things up over to Church, finds Vanity, numbers advantage, now to flood on in. Eons gets caught from behind. Cruelty's going to put Reality last alive in a 1v3, now 1v2 with bomb down.
You go for the post-plant situation, you would assume that you just play this one-for-one spot just over by well, and Reality didn't get up here in time to see Lightning cross. Just last second saw Lightning come all the way through. You would love for that kill to come a little bit sooner, if not landing all of the shots. Does end up connecting towards the flash, but can't nip at the ankles hard enough, and Reality in this 1v2 knows at least where these last two players are located at, and they set themselves up with a nice little pinch. An uphill battle to say the least for Reality, but for me, that mostly comes through from Gunzy dropping the sniper, coming in towards offense. They make the heads-up play, putting themselves all the way through the middle of the map, Colin, opening up the backside of Church. That was one of the many boons of success to be able to take the offensive round there for Ottawa. More importantly, collecting off of an unforced error of Eons trying to get Mixie through the middle of the map. They just held the position once their position already got scouted out by the Braves and they got pinched on. In that one-for-one spot to maybe stop that plan from coming down a little bit sooner, but nice collection of information and then collapsing on it as a whole for the Braves.
Stacks with COD right there. You find the numbers, you search forward, you overwhelm, you take control. Braves now bounce back, 1-1 tie on the defense, putting a lot of pressure here over towards command center. Vanity's going to close the door, and you can see Gunzy immediately backs up. Just respect coming out from the Ottawa Braves, but instead it's Gunzy cooking the nade through the window. A little 1-2 punch with Lightning. It's going to put St. Edward's now on the back rope. You can see Thresh on the escape through fire. Well, his player number 2, Reality, starts to overextend through the A side, but at some point, you got to dip back because that bomb's down proper, and it's down in a very unfortunate spot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that one-for-one, that little door play that was coming through for Vanity was cute and all, but they are your bomb carrier, and that being dropped down all the way to the upside of rooftops means that Gunzy could just play this position, just play off the info, let alone, and the rest of the Hilltoppers are playing this so isolated that they have to be able to find these kills very quickly. Thresh did not have Dead Silence pop, so that door is going to make a lot of information. It's going to force Cruelty just to hold the line, expecting Thresh to almost come through the back.
Nice shots from Thresh to the wall, can't finish his kill. I think he got the sound cue for Ethan down low. He does drop into the pit for now. 16 seconds, though, to make a play. If you're St. Edwards, you have Reality working through command center. Is going to take down Gunzy. Opens up an opportunity now, but they have to be ready for Lightning in the same spot. He's going to push on out, and he's going to lock down, too. All right, Lightning coming out to play. Pushes on in, and he shuts him down in the same clip.
And they almost line up for him, too. It's just not that easy of it. Just a little retrain of the aim. Just a slight left with the MP40 close range. That gun is pretty darn good, if you ask me, for that exact situation. But again, when you're thinking about it, for St. Edwards as an offense, it was a cut and dry replay of their first round. They send 2 players over towards P5, trying to get well control. This time, Gunzy meets them. Ends up at least taking down 1 player being the bomb carrier, and the other 2 players just being isolated over by A. It's just not a nice spot to be. Cruelty will go 1-for-1. Lightning will be traded on out. 3v3 we go. You still have to cut down through the ruin side if you are the Braves to try to get towards this A site.
We're just trading nades with Cruelty right now. Reality is a sitting duck towards the A site. 31 HP in a dream. Cruelty looking to make his mark. Reality's going to pop up. A little bit check down onto Cruelty, so still playing a little bit of tag right here. This is a nice play from Austin. Changing his positioning. See if he can catch Reality. Looking the wrong way, and that's the opening. Finds Reality. A site is opened up now. Time to search forward and take control. Unfortunately, though, you gotta watch out. Player number 4, Eons, has actually slipped in the back line. Going to catch some good timing. Unfortunately, catches the bad timing onto Gunzy. And at last alive is going to be found through the middle of the map. And Braves find 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, the last player that was in the middle of the map was playing in a 1-for-1 position, was almost just waiting to be able to expect maybe Eons finding a little bit more value, pinching all the way through vines. But as you said, bad timing catching Gunzy over there. Gunzy, Spidey sense is absolutely tingling in that exact moment in time. They were so far away from the entirety of the play that once they ended up pushing through all the way in the backside of the B site, truly, they cut all the way back through P5, went through tiles, and then they ended up taking down Eons, as you say, was probably the one player that could have blown things up more than anything. Now, 3 rounds in a row for the Braves, starting to piece things together. 2-1-1 split. Again, you have Thresh top fire. Cruelty is more than aware of this, and the stun did connect on the Thresh, so they have to reposition, but yeah, Lightning is just instigating to be able to find this first blood, isn't he?
Every single time he's in the back line. St. Edwards, are they going to be ready for this play? Thresh turns around, but too little too late. First blood pulled Again, Lightning tearing up the back line, and look at the opportunity it's presented. Player number 5 and 7 flooding on through P5. Full control of fire for the Ottawa Braves. I don't even think Eon knows that. No, Ethan is going to take him down. That's going to put numbers even farther in the favor of the Braves. 4v2. Vanity and Reality work to pull this back. But they are stuck in a predicament. Information in the hands of the Braves. They know where both players are proper.
Some shots did come through from top fire, so you know they want to try to deal with Gunzy up here. This is an egregious gunfight to take, and that should activate Cruelty to pinches from the opposite side. More importantly, you're not going to get to the middle of the map scot-free, but a nice set nade comes through. Reality takes down Cruelty on the backside of Tree, so now you have to be activated if you are Ethan. Does not check the bomb in time. It doesn't even get planted. 18 seconds, and Ethan needs to be traded.
I thought he was going to walk by, but Reality now has to make his move. 14 seconds left. Ethan, he's searching forward. 6 HP, takes the gunfight. Oh my, Ethan, I thought you had that, but 6 HP, you gotta calm down.
Yeah, it's almost at that point, too, that you would probably... I mean, it's a heat check, to say the least, for Ethan. Almost what we've come to expect for Ethan to nice, especially in the CCL 2022 season. And to go for these little heat checks, knowing that the clock was against the Hilltoppers, knowing that they had to plant the bomb to extend the game clock, but... that was just a nice call there from Reality, who finds themselves 3 in that round, 7 and 4 now, leading the entire lobby, keep in mind you, just to be able to bait out the play and just win that gunfight rather than trying to commit towards the bomb plan to extend it. Eon's again playing that instigative role, trying to catch one player off guard. He'll find Lightning for free for first blood.
Oh, and look at that. The bait and switch from Reality is 3 simultaneously. All 4 go down. A quick round from St. Edwards. That evens us up in the search and destroy 3-3, and... you know, first kill on the board for a couple of those players from SCU. That's a feel-good round right there, proper.
Yeah, I love that call coming out from the Hilltoppers again. They just get aggressive through the middle of the map. They get control over by the Brave side of you. Knowing that Thresh was watching the entirety of the middle map, who did find that last kill. Now Reality finds themselves on a 4. 3 more kills. They'll get themselves that glide bomb. And that is very achievable when it comes down to only being 3-3 on 2 different sides. In round number 7, got a little bit of a change of pace coming through from the Hilltoppers. Again, Reality will be up top fire. Not Thresh this time. The other 3 players trying to commit towards this P5 push.
You have a chance right now if you're saying Edwards to take a lead in the search. Let's see if they can seize it. But again, it's Lightning on the flank. How many times are you going to get away with this? Timing is in his favor. They're flooding on through, but it's already too late. You got Gunzy holding the front line. Lightning swinging around the back, and the Braves, they're not going to stay down for long. They cut the momentum from St. Edwards, and they battle through P5.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, isn't it? I mean, if Gunzy's in that position, just on top of the barrel, on top of the box, just outside of P5, leading towards radio and patio, you almost should expect a double slide challenge to come all the way through for the trade. But Gunzy does find those 2 players, will shut things down, especially for Reality, threatening to get closer towards streaks, sure, but even more so than that, the momentum that St. Edwards did just win 2 rounds on the bounce. Gunzy finding 3 of their own kills within that round, just shut down the play damn near single-handedly. The aggression continues. Braves looking for tiles control. You got 3 players in here. Just the gun Thresh. Cruelty will rip their head clean off.
They know what they need to do, and they get it done. Gunzy a second. He's going to leave Vanity all alone, and he gets caught by a Cruelty as well. All players from St. Edwards just dropping like flies around the map. Reality the last alive, but not for long. And St. Edwards starting to fall into old patterns. For the Braves, they are just playing textbook plays together. And it just goes to show the experience. I mean, the call just to fly on forward, take all 3 players, take the gunfight against Thresh, and make sure the rest through the middle of the map just can't get anything done. It is just Braves in control of the whole map.
I don't know what textbook you're reading, brother, but triple challenging out from tiles like that is a heat check and a half coming out from the Braves, just saying, hey, you guys just want to triple challenge to the middle of the map? They just completely run them over. Now Gunzy away. 2 kills away from getting themselves a glide bomb. Trying to take a page out of the Braves' books. Now, did see 3 players. Was that player top church? I believe that was Cruelty up there. Question is, how do you collapse on this play knowing that the bomb is isolated in the bottom side of Command Center?
Well, this is a good start. Eons for the first. Vanity, quick trade. That's going to be 2 the other way in favor of Braves. Going to leave these last 2 players of St. Edwards forced to make a play back to the A site. Going to wrap all the way through their own spawn. And look at the Ottawa Braves right now, proper. All 3 players working together, holding hands through P5. They are going to follow St. Edwards, call them at this A site, and they've completely flipped this out. Eons, he's going to peek out to the B site, or peek out to A, drop this bomb, catches some good timing, but as soon as it goes down, all 3 players from the Braves ready to pounce.
And it's planted for grass side as well. Thresh and Eons are going to be looking to double up. The issue is that Gunzi is going to try to blow this play up from their side of U, and Thresh actually gains that information. That's massive, but what they don't know is that Cruelty's in the back.
A good start from Eons. He said Cruelty in the back. Pass slipped the line. They don't know just yet. Thresh is going to find Ethan. 1v1. Cruelty makes it so. 22 seconds to make a play, and look at Eons' positioning. Just sitting tight towards Church. Cruelty's going to hop this bomb. Eons, he has to check it soon. His eternal clock's going to be there. He's going to check it in time, and he's not there. He can't see it. He's on the opposite side of the truck, and Cruelty, he just decides, I'm going to stick this bomb. I'm going to end the map.
It wasn't planted for him, Colin. It was planted on the backside for the recheck to come out from you. It was not extended to be seen through the middle of the map. Wasn't planted for a top fire position either. I mean, that's just such a gut check call when it comes out from Cruelty. I mean, he said in Twitch chat he was going to put on a highlight performance.
But it
didn't explode, but that was a accuracy in Iceman type of situation where you're recognizing the 1v1, recognizing where the bomb's going to be planted at. They didn't even know where Eons was located at top Church like that. They found Thresh over by Ruins, sure. But then you immediately check through the middle of the map. Okay, I'm not being shot at. He's definitely not top fire. This is planted for you, and given the simple fact that Cruelty was able to find that kill on the Thresh and wasn't immediately challenged, at least for the trade, just hops on it. That's such a smart call coming out from Austin Cruelty to be able to end the map there 6-3 for the Braves.
I mean, it's just simple things out of Ottawa right there, and Cruelty, he calls his bluff. He calls his bluff. He's like, okay, it's not planted for where Eons found that last kill in Church. I'm going to lock this one down. I'm going to take it all the way to a 2-0 lead. Let's take a look at the stats before we cut to a break proper, because we're looking at St. Edward's now forced to reverse sweep, and a lot of things stick out right away to me when you're looking at the Hilltoppers. Mostly Vanity and Eons throughout that search and destroy didn't have a great show. I think at one point both players were 0-4, and Vanity ending 1-7, Eons ending 3-6. It's just not the way you want to look at going into this control.
Yeah, I mean, you had both Thresh and Reality, with their solo damage alone, had more than both Vanity and Eons combined. That says something more than about Vanity and Eons than it does individually comparatively to Thresh and Reality. And this is something that I brought up, that in between Vanity and Reality, you got to see at least both of these players step up, given the fact that if Eons can continue to have a consistent performance. But every single time Eons was trying to find these instigative plays, right, through the middle of the map, they were getting aggressive more often than not defensively to be able to get U position. They did find at least one successful round in finding that first blood, trying to cross on over inside of Ruins. But outside of that, if you're getting gunned like that, you're only finding information and you're not going 1-for-1 anymore. You almost have to be able to play in a different position. That if you continue to get aggressive round after round and Eons is getting gunned and they're not being able to at least find trades, that's much more of a slip-up for the Hilltoppers than it is anything for the Braves. It could have been a much different scoreline had Eons continuously found aggressive routes, but because the simple fact that they were always trying to put themselves in the middle of the map, up towards top U, shutting down the A push, it almost always felt that either Ethan or Gunzi was finding way too much success in trying to flank offensively, keep in mind you, to get on the backside of Church and continuously blow up any defensive setup that the Hilltoppers were constantly looking for.
It's just a lot of changes need to be made if you want to get this reverse sweep for St. Edward's. On the other side, Ottawa Braves, the Demons in the West, the reign of terror continues. We're headed to Gavatu Control up next. Before that break, we will see you in a bit, everyone. You're on the Alpha Stream. Welcome back to the College COD Alpha Stream. We got Ottawa Braves up 2-0 over the St. Edward's Hilltoppers. My name is Seymour. Alongside me is Proper. We're here to dive into this Control 3 coming up next. We got Gap 2 on the menu, Proper, and right now, I mean, what else is on the menu? It's got to be a reverse sweep for St. Edward's.
Yeah, again, when we're walking in towards this matchup as a whole, you would really feel like this was a much-win series for St. Edward's. Tough to say that truly for the Hilltoppers, given that they ended up losing 0-3 to ASU, as well as to ICC. This has major seeding implications that if St. Edward's lose this, they're looking to start their playoff run just outside the top 4 for seedings. That's what this matchup truly does mean. Ottawa are guaranteed the #1 seed overall. We already knew that going into it, but to be upset against the Hilltoppers, we were almost kind of batting an eyelash that it might be possible. But after losing that search and destroy the way they did, losing 3 rounds in sequence to start things off after going 1-0 up, and then losing the back 3 after winning 2 on the bounce, also having a very even game on that Bocage hardpoint through the first set of hardpoints, and then all hell broke loose in favor of the Braves. You really feel like that this has to be a map mode, especially on Gavutu control, that's going to be quite good for the Hilltoppers, given how some of their top performers, their consistent performance through those two first maps are both in between reality and Thresh. Those ARs have been absolutely beaming. It just comes about collecting and piecing it all together so that way the Hilltoppers can find success here on the control.
Now, Proper, this is funny because when you look at the score against Ottawa right now, St. Edwards are almost mirroring the same as their series against ICC last week. It was a 250 to 170 hard point to start it off, a 6-3 search and destroy to lose inside that second map, and they went to Gavitu for map number 3. Now, they did lose it out to lose the series in 3, but it was a 3-2 loss on Gavitu. So inside this control, I feel like you have a little bit of solace kind of residing inside of you, knowing that you can go the distance on this map to a top team inside your division. And with Ottawa Braves, this might be St. Edward's pick to hopefully spark something inside of them for that reverse sweep. So you get to go again to this Gavitu control, possibly looking to draw it out to the distance like they did ICC, and hopefully in their eyes, they're looking to take that round 5 or just take this game 3 to start that reverse sweep.
And I really hope so. If you are a member, student, a fan of St. Edwards, you want to be able to see them start the reverse sweep here. It would be back-to-back Gavutu if they can do it, but even still, Ottawa, as far as a 4-player squad is concerned, all 4 of these individuals are more than adept at picking up the automaton. You can see 4 ARs just in the limelight, I'm sure of it. First blood will come through from Ethan. That is a long-range engagement, to say the least, all the way over by the cliff path. And no one's watching the beach, not until too late. And because so, Gunzy just hits it. That means immediate ring control as St. Edwards trying to hop on the A-zone to stop the clock early.
The Hilltoppers, unsure if they want to make that dash to A just yet. They finally do, but losing out on members. Cruelty lines up 2 on the front line, slides on in to find the third. Eon's just on the outside. He gets eyes on, but he calls that a little bit of help. Gunzy, that's 3 down for St. Edwards, and you can see off the respawn, they're trying to get back control of Cliffside, but Lightning's here to cut down Vanity, so that's going to, again, lessen the lives of St. Edwards. Hopping onto this A-zone, you got 45 seconds left.
Only 3 kills have been found by the Hilltoppers so far, so you need to go big if you are Thresh. Trying to command through the middle of the map. You got 2 players inside your spawn. One player's going to challenge you out from concrete stairs, and that's going to be Ethan. That was the ace up their sleeve, that potential to be able to shut down Gunzy over by the cliff path gone, but Vanity takes that gunfight, will end up taking them out of commission for the time being, but these isolated plays, I'm having shades of the Bokosh hardpoint again. Once the Ottawa Braves find themselves in a favorable position, they lock down at least one more player, and they find the trades to boot. Again, just shutting down any St. Edwards potential to be able to get on this A-zone.
You got 23 seconds left. One more chance from St. Edwards just to successfully start something with all 4 players. It's a flurry of kills to open up that A-zone. They stop the clock at 20. They successfully capture 1 tick, but here come the players from Ottawa Braves. They clear out the zone, keep the time clock burning. Eon's forced to hop on into this one. A little bit of reality, a little bit of help from reality. They're able to cut down the player on the front. Nice read from Eon's. Second tick should be on board. They just need to take down Gunzy. With the help, they stack the site. 2 go down again. And you might be looking at the A-zone being captured and adding another minute to the clock.
And it will end up coming all the way through. There's that extra 60 seconds and a 1-life lead for St. Edwards. Not exactly something to write home about, but what is something to write home about is the positioning that St. Edwards are currently playing with. You do have reality just outside of the Braves' concrete steps. The issue is that you lost Eon's top ring. That has to be picked up by Vanity, and you're already getting back cage control for St. Edwards. It's just about influencing this position, making sure that reality goes big in towards the back. Just has a lot of blind trust that these 2 players up top ring can push forward.
On screen with reality, looking to make a play, losing out on the teammates, and he gets checked by the nades, so they know the player's back here. Lightning's going to take him down. No pressure from behind. Lives even proper with 36 seconds left. And now look at this play from Ottawa. Lightning, to be exact. He's just running right down mid. He's running right through everything. He hasn't been spotted by a single player from the Hilltoppers, and now in a position to really shut down this whole play. Eon spotted from up top. The patient play to take the shots, finishes the kill. And all of a sudden, St. Edwards now turning around to see if they can take him down, but it's too little too late. Lightning a second, 3 in a row. Looking for the spawn, now all 4 in a row for Lightning. Praying away at the respawns, 5 lives left for SCU. And looks like Braves about to go up 1-0 inside the control.
And not unless reality can make a last-ditch effort play in towards the back, they'll be cut down. Lightning needs to hold their life there towards the end, going in towards the next round on a 4 spree. 3 kills away from getting themselves the glide bomb. Though, if you are St. Edwards, I mean, count your blessings that you were able to at least walk away with the A zone. When it comes down to the defensive round, remember, it's no longer lives remaining. It is overall tick progression. So at least you were able to find those 3 ticks over by A and extend the clock, sure. But even so, Ottawa continuously finding themselves so many good timings to be able to find spawn kills, spawn traps, just always felt like that St. Edwards were hobbling their way across the map if they didn't already find themselves halfway through after capturing that A zone. Probably wouldn't have been able to see much more of a presence over towards B. So for an offense there for Ottawa, showing a lot of focus over towards top ring. Vanity will find first blood. But they don't see any more players flooding over here, so this needs to be collected information if you are St. Edwards that the push is coming over towards B.
Pay attention to Lightning as well. On 4 in a row. Could be looking at streaks with the next couple. Shaky shots out of reality is going to cost him. Still collecting time is Lightning, but he's going to be cut down by Thresh. Some beautiful shots out of the Automaton from his spawn, so no pressure to be any more. Minute left on that clock. You look at the players set up for Ottawa Braves. Looks like a lot of presence over towards the ring proper, and they have yet to make a shot over to towards the A zone. It seems like they're really banking on B to open up.
I mean, they're finding ring control, sure, and they're also finding rock kills as well over towards St. Edwards' spawn. So now you got 3 players over towards the B zone. St. Edwards have not won a gunfight in what feels like the past 35 seconds or so. There finally comes through a kill onto Cruelty. We still have a player that is locking down the B zone, and you also have Gunzy finding spawn kills. This has gone completely haywire for St. Edwards, but Reality finding those last 2 will be good to at least stop that last tick of progress from being looked at over by the B zone from the Braves. But they already got 2, and they're already over on the A zone, securing some tick progression.
Ethan being a pest towards the docks. Inside green, a little bit of jump shot. Goes for Vanity as well, but shots to the wall. Vanity will collect that kill. First tick collected towards A for the Braves with this setup. Reality get some nice shots on the Lightning, but he's still got Cruelty laying prone towards the left. Reality, quick little slow push, and he actually gets caught by Cruelty. So second tick will be cemented here for Ottawa. 2 ticks to A, 2 ticks to B, and with the stack, you might be looking at 3 ticks here. Last kill onto Vanity, and yeah, the A site's gone.
Now it's completely fallen by the wayside, and now these 2 players coming out from ship are going to try to immediately look for cage positioning. Maybe try to get on the backside of green. Is Ethan right above, and they're going to catch Thresh completely unaware of this position. Now Ethan trying to find a little bit more in towards the back. Nice shots coming through. Team shots at that for Vanity to finally collect on the final blow there onto Ethan. So that'll reset at least towards your side of the entire map for now. But you still have a 5-life lead if you are Ottawa, and you only need 1 tick progression. They have ring control, and they're banking off of Cruelty finding value in towards the back of green.
The Braves waiting for the mark. There it is. Gunzy opens up with a kill onto Eons. Unfortunately, though, you see Cruelty does get caught in the back. So you see still slow to the draw. Braves, they don't want to push out too late. And Gunzy, nice shots on the Thresh that will open up a chance for him to stop this clock at 52 seconds. 2 players there to collect. Reality has to make a play because this side it is going fast. Gunzy in the tank. He slides on out. Reality with a pistol. 26 HP. Gunzy challenges. And it's a team kill, but they still hold on. Back onto this hill. Cruelty. We can end it here. 47 seconds. Eons has to touch on board, but it's the Overwatch to help him out, and that is the B site gone. Ottawa Braves 2 rounds in a row. They're on match point.
And that is just unfortunate desperation coming through there at the very end. I mean, say what you will, miscommunication, not so much in my book, given the simple fact that you had to deal with those players on the lander there at the B zone. The nade comes through from Eons, takes down a teammate. Once the kill already comes all the way through, and they just needed what felt like the last little bit of that 3rd tick for the Braves. They had players in position from top ring to get on that B zone, that you had to make sure that you got a player there immediately. Eons hesitated at 4 and 16. I could understand why. Try to commit towards that depletion of the tick, and then it all goes in the favor of the Braves. Now up 2-0. They get scattered out. St. Edwards trying to commit towards ring control. They do find these first few kills, though, Colin, so they are maintaining the position for now, but you've given the Braves more than enough opportunity to try to almost reconsider their structure to hold off this B push.
Here they come to B. Back and forth trades. All presence knocked down inside. Gunzy looking to clean up the crew inside ring, and he does so with the kill on the Vanity, although they leave Thresh unchecked, and job not done just yet. It allows for those players out to respawn. A little bit of an escape over towards A, but still this time you got to go up against Lightning, and he is just the gatekeeper of cliffs with this MP40. Walks away with 54 damage. And we saw this in round number 1. He's going for the spawns now. He's looking to bite them where it hurts. And he's looking for 4 in a row at the same time. Hops up top. He's going to find 4 to Eons. Goes for the pre-fire. The wrong read, though. Fresh takes him down. 21 seconds. Ottawa Braves looking to put this away fast with 3. And they're going to do it in the time clock. It's just a couple more seconds to hold on. And Ethan is ripping them apart. Playing his life as well. He's going to dip on through. Goes for the pre-fire, but it's too little too late proper. This one is done and dusted. Reality, a late play towards B to try and hold on with everything that he's got. But you can just see that Ottawa, they're not even paying him any attention. They're still ripping apart his teammates back in his own spawn. You're leaving it up to player number 6 and Ethan to take him down. And here he comes, a one-on-one here for Reality to hold on to this game. And Ethan is playing with his food. Reality, he is so scared, but he's still going to hold on for now.
Still going to be able to lock down that first tick of progress. So now it comes down to Gunzy to maybe try to deal with this lone player inside of the B lander. And they will be taken out of commission. Ottawa Braves, a commanding presence on the map of Gavutu for the control. They collect off of the unforced error coming through by way of team kill to find themselves that offensive round. And then that last little bit of what you just witnessed of the spawn trap on the backside of Radar in the offensive spawn, Ottawa were relentless on just constantly cycling out player after player. Lightning found the opening 4. They get cut down, they get traded, sure, and then Ethan was right around the corner just to find further pressure in towards the offensive spawn. Even though Reality didn't make a nice play to be able to at least stop that clock, nobody was making out of their spawn. They were being trapped on 2 different sides between Cruelty and Ethan. Gunzy was over there at one point in time, finally got cut down, and then they were the last line of defense to be able to get Reality off of that B lander. Just one set nade needed to come all the way through. We know that Gunzy has those more than rehearsed, getting ready for the Pro-Am. And Colin, this is the Ottawa Braves that we've known to come and expect over the past year. Again, your CCL 2021 champs are looking to go back-to-back here in the CCL 2022 season, showing such a strong performance here in Tier 2. They do it undefeated.
This is not a pretty sight on control. I'm just picturing Reality at the end there proper. He's like, hey, guys, I on B. Help me out here. 2.7 seconds. We need to stack this thing. And the team's just like, guys, we're trying, Reality. We're trying, but Ottawa Braves, they were frying. Inside of that, you look at each player, 3 of them dropping 18. Ethan, too nice with a fat 22. But even still, you just look at the consistency out of this team. You look over to the damage per player. Everybody dropping around 2,000. I mean, 3 of them over 2K damage, and Gunzy just barely below it. But each player stepping up, they were all on the same cylinder.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, everything was clicking just as you would almost expect for the Ottawa Braves. St. Edwards, on the other hand, just maybe not necessarily clicking as a team. I mean, a lot of their setups, a lot of their pushes, even going back through all of the best-of-5 series. Take the Tuscan Search and Destroy as an example. A lot of their setups, a lot of their opening rips, if you will, were very, very good, but it was just the execution, finding a lot of those kills. Again, Eons had a lackluster performance. 8-23 for them here on this Gavutu control. Had a very unfortunate performance on the Tuscan Search and Destroy. And although they did end up finding that 7 spray on the Bocage hardpoint, that was really the only bright spot that they truly had. Eons is supposed to be a boon of success when it comes down to the Hilltoppers as far as in-your-face SMG pressure is concerned. The Ottawa Braves made him look like a preschooler almost. It just was child's play. The way that Ottawa were just completely handing Eons a swift demise on everything that they've been finding success with all throughout the entirety of the second split and all throughout the entirety of this year for the Hilltoppers. Say what you will, it's a tough opponent for Ottawa. You can see the best-of-5 map set almost looks as decisively as we're probably framing it up to be, though St. Edwards did show a lot of bright spots, especially in recency, where they were showing a lot of disconnection as far as these 4 players are concerned. Things are starting to click for St. Edwards, and they need to find a little bit more practice. They need to find a little bit more rehearsal. We got a lot of VOD from this second split, Colin, to be able to come in towards playoffs as a stronger team. It won't be a top 5 seed, to say the least, depending on how the rest of this Western region does play out for us, but if you are St. Edwards, you know that you're better than this. We know that you can definitely be at a higher skill ceiling. We're just all waiting to be able to see how that practice does play out, and we'll see them in playoffs.
For sure, for sure. And, when we're kind of eyeing up this whole series between Ottawa and St. Edwards, it was the fact that, a win from St. Edwards would be huge to cement their placing inside of their division, but a loss opens up the door for so many teams, and especially the teams coming up next on stream. We got Arizona State University and the West Cliff Warriors going head-to-head against each other inside this West Division, and now with a loss from St. Edwards, That makes things really, really interesting. Folks, we're going to cut to another break, and when we come back, last match of the night here on the Alpha Stream.